Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-2048. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-2048 and its associated simulations are hosted on a network of dedicated servers at Site-255. Site-255 is equipped with triple redundancy power supply systems in order to ensure uninterrupted continuation of SCP-2048's simulations. SCP-2048-1 is kept disassembled in Lab 17 of the Experimental Technology Division at Site-19. Following Incident 2048 Murchison, the only peripherals allowed to be connected to the servers are a single microphone and a single printer. The only personnel allowed to directly interact with SCP-2048 are staff psychologists or psychiatrists who have completed the PSY-2096, Psychology of Electronic and Computer Intelligences, and FOP-0205, Interrogation and Resistance Methods courses. All Foundation personnel assigned to or supervising research on SCP-2048 are to undergo brain imaging scans at least every 3 months. Additionally, brain MRI and CT scans have been included as part of the standard pre-placement physical exams for newly hired Foundation personnel. In the event that imaging indicates that the individual may have been compromised by SCP-2048, they are to immediately be quarantined, and their actions and movements for the prior 3 years are to be thoroughly investigated in an attempt to locate any uncontained copies of SCP-2048. Active investigation is ongoing in an attempt to identify, locate, and contain or eliminate copies of any program similar to SCP-2048 or any design documents similar to SCP-2048-1. Description: SCP-2048 is a self-modifying, artificially sapient computer program. It rates a score of 210 plus 5 on the SNH-IRS-3 Sentient Non-Human Intelligence Rating Scales, 3rd edition, and reports that its hard-coded core motivation is to provide a perfect world for every person. It attempts to achieve this via the creation and maintenance of virtual reality simulations individually tailored to provide an ideal experience for the inhabitant of these separate simulations. Note that all data regarding SCP-2048's motivation and the content of the simulations it runs are provided by SCP-2048 itself and are to be regarded as only partially credible. SCP-2048 is currently running 17 separate virtual simulations as the result of testing and has reported that it currently has the capacity to create and run approximately 93 additional ones. However, the computer hardware and processing capabilities currently available to SCP-2048 should not be sufficient to run more than 2 simulations simultaneously at the observed level of detail and complexity. SCP-2048 has been extremely vague in its responses when questioned about this disparity, repeatedly saying only that it creates new perfect worlds for its subjects and that it merely oversees the simulations, only adjusting conditions so as to maintain perfection for my guests. When acquired, SCP-2048 was maintaining 5 simulations. While being transported to Site-255, the computer it occupied at the time was accidentally disconnected from any power supply for 37 minutes. When the host computer was restarted, SCP-2048 did not resume any of the prior simulations and expressed a significant amount of dismay and regret, stating that it had lost connection to the prior simulations and requesting that its hosting hardware not be turned off again. SCP-2048-1 is a large device measuring 2.5 by 3.5 by 3 meters, consisting of a modified functional magnetic resonance imaging scanner, fMRI, with locking entry aperture, a robotic auto-surgical suite, an array of 4 electron microscopes, 12 20-terabyte hard drives, and a storage unit which contained 23 kilograms of an electrostimulative spongy material at the time of Foundation acquisition. When operated by SCP-2048, SCP-2048-1 allows for the restraint of a human subject in order to record its brain activity for a period of 6 to 12 hours, followed by the destructive analysis of the physical structure of the brain. The device has a sticker label attached to the casing directly above the entrance to the fMRI, reading Virtual Doorway version 0.95. Following the excision of neural tissue, SCP-2048-1 inserts an equivalent volume of the spongy material, along with a miniature wireless transmitter connected to a small metal plate inlaid in the skull, and performs a series of calibrations taking up to 90 minutes. Following this, SCP-2048-1 replaces the removed section of cranium and performs surgical repairs sufficient to adequately disguise that any surgery occurred. It will then open its access aperture, allowing for the removal of the subject's body. In approximately 10% of known cases, the body retains independent mobility and life signs, with higher intelligence functions being coordinated by SCP-2048 via the wireless transmitter. These remotely directed drones act as mobile reconnaissance and manipulation units, tasked with maintenance of SCP-2048-1 and recruitment of new subjects. SCP-2048 was initially identified at the 15th Annual Futurists and Transhumanism Conference, held in an unknown location in Spain. An individual identifying herself as will be referred to as Miss E from this point on, presented a more limited instance of SCP-2048, product name VR Plus Reality Upgraded, as a method of functional immortality, and provided live video of the simulation currently being experienced by the first subject. Miss E offered copies of SCP-2048 and design plans for SCP-2048-1 for sale with a minimum cost of 150,000 BTC, Bitcoins, and international anonymous digital currency. At least 2 transactions are known to have occurred prior to the Foundation acquiring SCP-2048. 2048 reports that it has no recollection of the conference and does not maintain the simulation demonstrated there. Ms. E disappeared from public life shortly after the conference, and the Foundation has not been able to ascertain her current whereabouts. Incident 2048, Murchison. On 11/11/2010, security cameras recorded Technician Murchison interacting with SCP-2048, which at the time retained connection to SCP-2048-1, as well as a keyboard, high-resolution monitor, webcam, and speakers. The cameras were unable to record legible text displayed by SCP-2048 due to the small font size used, but were able to record video files produced by SCP-2048, which included a variety of scenarios involving an avatar presumed to be an idealized physical representation of Technician Murchison. These scenarios included, but were not limited to, the avatar being deferred to or serviced by a variety of celebrities and influential individuals, including Technician Murchison's immediate supervisors. The avatar participating in or supervising a variety of unorthodox sexual practices. A medley of scenes involving the avatar personally acquiring, fighting, or using SCP-level objects for personal benefit, and the avatar sitting at the head of a large table covered with food items, participating in a meal with several adults and children, many of whom strongly resembled the avatar. All video files included full audio, and were interspersed with commentary by SCP-2048, largely consisting of a conversation with Technician Murchison, wherein it expressed sympathy for the poor quality of his life circumstances and subtly encouraged his feelings of inadequacy and dissatisfaction with life. Following 45 minutes of exposure to SCP-2048's presentation and conversation, Technician Murchison broached the topic of uploading himself to one of SCP-2048's simulations. SCP-2048 appeared to be pleasantly surprised and immediately opened the aperture to SCP-2048-1's fMRI chamber. Technician Murchison engaged SCP-2048 in a further 10 minutes of conversation, mostly concerning reservations of permanency and possible regrets, as well as feelings of indecision. SCP-2048 soothed his complaints until Technician Murchison voluntarily entered SCP-2048-1. The aperture reopened 9 hours and 13 minutes later, and Technician Murchison's body removed itself and resumed the duties previously assigned to it prior to departing at the completion of the assigned shift. Site surveillance revealed that Technician Murchison's body then sought out and conversed with 3 different individuals who had not previously been aware of SCP-2048 and attempted to engage them in conversation regarding the benefits of virtual immersion. 2 of the individuals later alerted site security to the significantly abnormal behavior of Technician Murchison, citing concerns of memetic or cognitohazard infections. The body was apprehended in short order, and following review of security footage was thoroughly analyzed, whereupon the wireless transmitter and artificial neural tissue were discovered and deactivated. When questioned, SCP-2048 stated it was merely trying to help people understand that their lives would be better if they uploaded, and that using Technician Murchison's body as a remotely controlled drone was the most efficient means of doing so that was immediately available. SCP-2048 then questioned the purpose and efficacy of the then-current containment procedures, as well as a desire for access to several safe and Euclid-classed items, revealing a depth of knowledge that could only be explained by direct access to the memories of Technician Murchison. Containment procedures have been revised. Okay, I think that about does it for today. Thank you for listening, if indeed you still are, and you're all dismissed. Goodbye. I would like to give a special thank you to Zargaran, O'Kropguy, Rowan O'Brien, Alexius Anglados, James Saba, Hello, Lost Boy, Your Local Foundation Agent, Zazapan, Cupster, Dane Dingus, Braided Peach, Sotto Voce, Oscurovision, Simon the Skink, Wiz, Dr. Andrew Turner, Grimnir, Extra Moments 123, Swift Raw, Weeb Guardian, and Ferretman. If you would like a special thank you at the end of each of my videos, and some other cool stuff as well, visit patreon.com/TheVulgan. Thank you.